Okay, good morning here on WMIC AM 660 and 95.3 FM. Streaming online at SaniLacBroadcasting.com. Click the listen live link. We're also on our Sanilac Broadcasting Facebook Live. I hope it's working. I'll double check in a few here. We're here with Sanilac CMH. They do have a website and Facebook page. And we're here with the CEO, Will Morris. And we also have another special guest, Jeff Thompson. You are a clinical supervisor?
That is correct.
Okay.
For adults. Yep.
Yeah. You're also on the latest ad that's been running for this month, right?
Yes.
For the month of May, which is what?
Mental Health Month.
Mental Health
Awareness.
Month.
Yeah.
You just get a month per year, right?
Yeah,
So yeah.
That we're being aware of, right?
Yeah. So how long have you been there now? So
I am coming up on my 14th year.
okay. What drew you to Sanilac CMH? Has he always been in this?
I've been in this mental health business since 2002.
Okay.
But Will called me personally and asked me to. Just kidding. No. There was a job opening as a children's home-based therapist, and so I applied, and they hired me.
Yeah. So you work with kids or all ages?
I did up until 3 years ago, and then I came over to the adult side and took the supervisor position for the MI Adult Services.
All right. How's that working out now? So
I like it.
Yeah.
It was a little transition, right?
Yeah.
The individuals are bigger, right? Not kids anymore.
Yeah.
And different staff, but it's been refreshing.
Yeah. My old intern, well, I won't say old, she'll still hang around, had diagnosed me as a man with the mind of a teenage boy recently. So so
if we poll all the women, we might find that your diagnosis is not just to you.
no. It's also National Nurses Day too, so shout out to all the nurses.
Absolutely.
I know you got a couple there at
Yes, we got several nurses.
Yeah, at Sanilac CMH. Mrs. Fury, my wife, is also a nurse. She's at the Sanilac County Health Department as well. So shout out to all the nurses. So this whole month is focusing on Mental Health Month. Yeah. So is there anything special going on at Sanilac CMH that's really a hard focus on this month?
I don't know if there's a hard focus, but it's with the advent of our CCBHC status, it's going to sound strange that it's fun, but it's fun to work with people who are not in the severe category that may be having a difficult time. Mom, dad passed away, come in for a few sessions. So it's refreshing working with that population as well as our severe population.
That's where I fall on the borderline of. Just before I come every morning on the air, to the microphone's my and the audience is my. I guess you could say my therapy. So yeah, talk things out is to get things out in the open is you instead of keeping it all bottled in, right?
So way back when Sigmund Freud invented therapy, they called it the talking cure.
Yeah.
They found that there was something beneficial about talking to someone that cares about you.
Yeah, he was quite a character too. So.
Oh yeah, we won't get into that right now.
Yes, he was.
Or even your local bartender.
Which is cheaper. So.
Yeah, to a little bit of a somewhat extreme there too.
Correct.
It's all about human connections.
Yes.
It's creating that connections and making sure people have connections. And honestly, I think that we have polar opposite forces at play here. With technology, we're becoming less social in real lifetime. So we have less real relationships that we can rely on. And on the flip side, we have the ability at Sanilac CMH to expand our services and provide services to a lot more people who we couldn't impact before. I think it just as we try to get those things together and making sure people realize that there are people in this community that care about you, and that you're not alone. And it may seem small, but everything starts off small. If you even think about cancer, cancer starts off really small. If you do all the preventative measures, more than likely it can be taken care of and you don't have to worry about it. But if you let that cancer grow, eventually it gets to a point that it can't be treated. Mental health isn't any different. People don't start off with huge major depression with suicidal thoughts. They start off with feeling sad and feeling depressed, and then losing less energy and not exercising and eating poorly, and it just snowballs. And now we have the ability to catch people earlier so that their treatment episodes will be a lot shorter, their outcomes will be way better, and their return to a happy, healthy life much quicker.
Yeah.
So, and that's really the big message that I try to push is really trying to
Social
do that.
media has really affected, I guess, kids or even teens or even adults
Oh, you
at
bet.
this point.
Yep.
I've just recently found a way in the last several years to maybe turn it around. Yeah, I'll take the criticism and I like reading it out loud.
Hmm.
And I tend to poke fun at myself as how to break
Yep.
down
Sure.
my way of dealing
Mm-hmm.
with those high emotions sometimes, or just kind of just put the phone down for an hour or a day, like I do on
Hmm.
the weekend. So
I was at my grandson's soccer game the other day, and I looked down the row of parents, and it's like, are they? They were all on their phone, so it's like
yeah,
you're ignoring your kid out there, and
yeah,
but
but you have to relearn how to become social
this
again.
is
So
true.
Hmm.
this
Yeah,
is where cornhole will come in. So
there we go.
yeah,
Yeah.
so. And
Hmm.
you got to find some type of social activity or something physical activity away from the screen.
Yeah, but those good old face-to-face skills we sometimes lose, and we're looking at our
Hmm.
phone.
Yeah. So.
And progressive generations are actually worse.
All right. What does
Agreed.
drive me mental is the weather. But we got plenty of sunshine. Sunshine actually is a good
Yes.
type of thing to get outside too.
Absolutely.
For anybody who's deals with that, get outside and enjoy nature, which is a great free medicine out
Mm-hmm.
there with that vitamin D. So, even taking a simple walk at the Diamond Trail helps out. Um,
Hmm.
Right.
I always wondered if mental health professionals would go outside. Would they, find a way to make a type
We
of situation comfortable for them out in the outdoors?
we actually created a walking path around our campus. So if you do 2 laps around our 2 buildings, it's a mile. And then there's a smaller path. I think that makes it like a half a mile or something like that. So we do those types of things and we encourage that type of behavior. We have our In Shape program, which has been around, God, 15 years now, 14, 15 years. And it really is to help get people moving like you're talking about.
Hmm.
Because there's true, there's a very strong correlation between diet, exercise, health, and mental health. I mean, to think one operates without the other is just a misnomer, and it works with all of us. Like you just said, in the
Yeah.
wintertime, we're all more mopey, we're depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Summertime, when the sun's out, we're all more typically happier, more energized. That's everybody's like that. It's noticing those triggers and then trying to adjust that. So that's what the In Shape program does. Helps people exercise, eat healthy, and then all of a sudden they're not as depressed. And they didn't even have to talk to Jeff or me. They were able to do that by getting up and moving around.
I mean, what in your extreme cases does they relieve a little bit of pressure when they realize they're able to discuss things with you?
Sure, but the downside of a lot of mental illness is it creates in us a lack of motivation.
Mm.
So everything that I used to like to do, I don't want to do, even though that would help me if I did it. So it's a cyclical thing.
Hmm.
We have a fancy term, it's called anhedonia. It's things I used to like to do and I might still like to do, I just don't have the motivation to
Hmm.
do.
Yeah.
So,
That's like Saturday mornings with me, though. So I got to get up and do it, though. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what you have to tell yourself. Get up, do it.
we call it pushing through and doing it. So,
Hmm.
And when I do, yeah, you may find me outside in my pajama pants still, with my tennis shoes, swinging the golf club
hmm,
in the yard. I find that comfortable.
where
So
do you
yeah.
live? Just kidding.
I live out in the country. Live out in the country. You might want to dive in the pond and find all 1,000 golf balls out there so far. All right. Speaking of the sunshine, we got plenty of that. Great day to be outside and enjoy nature. Maybe on the cool side, it's brought to you by Thumb Bank and Trust. We'll be right back with Sanilac CMH. Again, the month of May, Sanilac CMH is with us. CEO Will Morris. We also have Clinical Supervisor
Correct.
Jeff Thompson is with us as well. The month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month for the month of May. All right, so we talked about, we were having fun about talking this topic, actually. You also have a personal situation, too, that maybe really pushed you into where you're at right now, too, right? So I have the same deal with,
Yeah.
I have a brother, that deals with it. So,
Yep.
and then a little bit of myself. In fact, every member of the family. So, well,
Right.
yeah.
It's kind of ironic how life shapes you
Yeah.
and life pushes you in the direction that you might not want to go, but where
Yeah.
you're most beneficial.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had a older brother that was diagnosed with a severe mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
So it was frustrating as a young person. It was educating. He was always my biggest cheerleader. He would call me when I took a semester off school, and he said, "Now you're going to go back, aren't you?" So
Yeah.
but just that encouragement from somebody that was living it,
Hmm.
and it gave me an interesting perspective.
Yeah, and probably a different view on those people who deal with that situation.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
Will, you talked about symptoms here. You wanted to lead us into.
Yeah, I mean, since May is Mental Health Month, I really want to talk about what kinds of things we should be looking for, either in ourselves or in our loved ones, that might give us an indication or an idea that maybe they're struggling. Whether it be if you're at work and a coworker calls in a lot, but they're not sick, and then it might be something you want to check on with them and just make sure that they're okay, and or if someone had a loss in their family, whether it's be a child, a parent, a pet. People don't think about it, but everybody reacts to situations differently. I wrote an article actually for the newspaper, I don't know, 12 or 13 years ago. I was driving into the office, and I hit two baby deer on my way to work. I couldn't just do one; I had to hit two.
How could you, the
Um,
Bambi?
yeah,
Okay.
and with my car, and it was the day my article was due for the In My Opinion article in the paper, and I wrote about trauma and how everybody who would have lived through that experience would have actually dealt with it differently. Like, it didn't bother me, but I know a lot of people that it would have really bothered. And it was interesting because 2 or 3 years later, I ran into a couple of people who were telling me that that article really impacted them because they experienced things that other people didn't think were traumatic but were for them. So making sure that you're really looking at it from the perspective of the person and not of your own perspective. Like you've mentioned a couple of times that you were in service,
Hmm.
and I can't imagine, I was never in the service, and some of the things that you dealt with that may not even have bothered you may very have been really traumatic for me. And that's okay. It's just that we all deal with things differently, and making sure that we're respectful to that person and looking for those types of symptoms. If someone's not eating right or overeating, sleeping too much, not sleeping enough. Um, you know, Jeff, do you want to chime in on any symptoms
Yeah,
that you want to share?
you mentioned a moment ago about traumatic experiences, and that's the unique thing about us human beings. We can all view the same situation, and we will all take something differently back with us. Part of it's DNA, part of it's our upbringing. Some people might walk away from an incident, no big deal, let's go to lunch, and others might be struggling. And so that's the unique thing about trauma. You just can't look into somebody's life and say, yes, that was traumatic for you.
Mm.
You don't know that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think even with I think law enforcement or how the media views
Mm.
someone dealing with
Mhm.
mental health issues, why it led to a situation, terrible situations in the world that happened. They are starting to look into the psyche a little bit, the mind of individual
Yep.
that it might have affected them. So at least we're starting to recognize, yeah, could he have gotten some help? He or her, So
And how you respond to someone who is asking for help is so important for anybody. If you have a family member who's struggling, if you minimize their pain, you think you're helping them, but what you're
Mhm.
doing is you're actually helping them hide that pain and letting it fester, because they won't actually deal with it because they're embarrassed then, or sometimes they could even feel somewhat shamed by experiencing those feelings and not deal with it. And then that's just going to fester. So, and it's hard to do because, with all of us, at any given day, someone will say something to one of us and we want to roll our eyes, or we want to be like, seriously, that's a big deal. That's not a big deal. Wait till you hear about my day.
Mm.
That's what we want to say. And as a mental health professional, we're actually trained never to do those kinds of things, and actually just listen to that person and be empathetic and supportive of that person, even though inside we may not feel those were big issues, but for that person it was. And helping them deal with that issue helps them get through that issue and then move on with their life, dealing with that traumatic event or that traumatic situation or that symptom, and then move on.
yeah, so I guess traumatic events can affect your mental
Mhm.
health, but there is also the actual physiology aspect
Yes.
of it too.
Right.
That you have to identify yourself,
Mhm.
and medication is always the last resort, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So nobody actually wants to be on that stuff
Right.
because I've been on that stuff, and yeah, it didn't work
Yeah.
out, and so we had to find a different method for me, and yeah, just talking things out or doing something physically for
Right.
me. I think how who I surround myself with, what I surround myself with, has really helped myself too.
Yeah,
So
many times all the time, we therapists aren't doing magic. We're simply giving ear to someone's problems, and there's value in that. And
Yeah.
a lot of people
Right.
don't have that in their own family and friends because the friends want them to be quiet so they'll feel better. So, but just listening, it has a huge value to it.
Yeah.
And finding those activities that will bring your natural endorphins up, those feel good feelings that we all get from accomplishing something, from like the person who has to write 50 items on their list and they always feel overwhelmed, so they never start anything. And then getting them to only write a list with only 2 items on it, so that when they actually take their pencil and check those items off, that feeling of
Yeah.
before Mrs. Fury adds 5. Okay, we got to step back. When you check those 2 off before the 5 get added, you're like, yes, I got that accomplished, and you feel good, right?
I actually use that exercise, especially here, because there's a lot of things to do here.
Yes.
I would divvy up in days instead of putting it all on one list. Yeah, that's
Yes.
okay. We're doing this.
Yep.
And when I accomplish that list, I say, hey, maybe I
Yeah.
can do that now.
Exactly.
It doesn't feel, that's not too bad now. I can add this,
Right.
so.
But
Yeah.
think of the amount of time you would have spent just stressed over the whole list if you were looking at the whole list at the first day.
Yeah.
You might have lost half of that day's productivity because the whole list was overwhelming.
All right. Sanilac County Community Mental Health is on a website. They're also on Facebook also, so stay up to date. This month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month for the month of May. Today's also Nurses Day on this Hump Day Wednesday, May 6, 2026. Anything else that we should add here?
No, just again, Will always has a saying, look out for your loved ones. Be aware, look for changes. A lot of times our own significant others will spot changes in us before we feel it. And that's kind of indicative of what Will was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And take care of yourself.
Mentally, can you help my golf game, though? So.
Wow, that may take a
My
few
golf.
sessions.
Yeah. Well, it's great there to be out there. By the way, I'm going to brag a little bit. Can you give me that thing there? I was really surprised that I was presented this from you guys, a Partner in Recovery Award, awarded on April 21st. And I appreciate this. I was not expecting this little award. Can you tell me what this means?
That particular award is something that we give to a community member who really helps us with our mission of reducing stigma and saving lives by really promoting mental health services in our community. And my only disappointment with that evening, Eddie, is that I would have loved to have recorded your spiel.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Because you did such an eloquent job, and I would have loved to have had that on Facebook or something that we could have shared. And I'm going to remember that for in the future.
Yeah, that was quite a big crowd. Do you guys usually get that many people in the meeting for that or not? Or was it the food that drew people out?
Well, that particular meeting, because we're honoring both our Partner in Recovery and our Staff of the Year, we do get way more staff to attend.
Yeah.
Most of the time at our board meetings, there's no one, and honestly, it's very few public. You're always invited and encouraged to come. And honestly, I think you should come whether you're happy with us or unhappy with us. I mean, it's nice to hear both sides of the coin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can figure out what we are doing right and what we can do better.
We can always learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you have any questions, I know you're taking questions. You're looking for questions for our
Yes.
next meeting here
Yes.
coming up later this month too. So
Yeah, we're hoping to do a Q&A.
look on the
radio.
Facebook. They just put a post on that. So
Yep.
yeah.
So that we can answer some questions so that the community has a better understanding as to what we're all about.
So the other person, the staff member, was Pam Bowerman, by
Yes.
the way. So
Yes.
how long has she been there now?
Pam, I'm not going to get the number right. She's
Yeah.
been there longer than I have, so
Right.
she's probably closer to 20 years or
Wow.
maybe a little over that,
Yeah.
maybe right around that point.
Right.
But yeah, she's a great employee.
Also, a shout out to all our mental health professionals there. Is you, Jeff, and all the people who help out there, especially with this month of May. Appointments, how do they approach?
Honestly, they have to do is call our main number now. You just call the 648-0330 number. And
Is that the one that's right on top of the website?
Yep.
Bam, right there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can actually, I guess you can click it now because we have a new website. So if you click it on a mobile device, it will actually dial it for you to ask you if you want to call. And the lady who answers the phone will take your information and get you set up. And we do same day appointments or whatever's convenient for you, and obviously depending on what's going on.
Yeah. You want to add?
So we have changed over the years. It used to be a while before you could get services. You can get services the same day. That's really refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the insurance now is making things a little bit easier for people to acquire services, right?
Yeah, as a CCBHC, we're able to service anybody. We used to, based on our contract with the state of Michigan, only be able to serve individuals that were considered severe. Now, as long as you have a mental health diagnosis, we can provide you service. Now, for a vast majority of folks who come in, especially if they have Medicaid or based on their income, those services have no cost.
Mhm.
Obviously, depending on your income or if you're copay or whatever, some people do have a cost for service.
Great. And that's opened doors, hasn't it, Jeff? So,
You
yeah.
bet.
Yeah, so
Yep.
great.
We can serve all populations.
All right. Thank you for your service, by the way. So, yeah, it's great to meet you the last time we were here with you. Well, thank you.
Yes.
We'll have Sanilac, CMH back here later this month as well to address. And hopefully, if you have any questions that you want to ask, please do so on that Facebook post. And hopefully, we can get your question on the air here, too, is when we next meet. All right, Sanilac CMH is check out their website and also Facebook page. The links are on our Sanilac Broadcasting Facebook Live as well. Top of the hour news and information is on the way on this Wednesday, May 6, 2026. Have a great day, folks.
Thank you.
Hello, Mom.